Got plenty of audio.
This is how it's going to look. This is what they're going to do. You know, we lay it out. I'm sorry. No, Inframark. They're recommended at 6:30. Right.
Pardon me.
Work? No, nothing's changed. They're making some changes. It's blocking long distances. How you doing? So, yeah, we put in the well, it wasn't talking to me about and they come to every property. How do you mitigate liability? Insurance?
Yeah, I mean, you don't mitigate
Yes.
Well, no, sure, everywhere, but if it's a private company, if you get hit with big enough when you go, look, we're bankrupt, hi. And the officers go away because they've got a corporation.
No,
They come after the PLA.
No, because I sue my LLC, and my LLC has 2 chairs, filing cabinet, or I start another LLC,
Right.
and you can have the 2 chairs,
Correct.
filing cabinet.
If they do it to the PLA, then they go, oh, great, you have 2,700 property owners that now owe $60,000 apiece to settle this lawsuit, or we're going to start seizing property.
Right, that's why you have them under a separate LLC, because then they've never done business with the PLA, and the PLA will not pay them.
We're going to need some volunteers to
No
handle
family
that.
separation, which is why the marinas go. It's pointless to have a marina corporation because it's a wholly owned. All the board members, it's a wholly owned subsidiary basically of the PLA. So if somebody's looking
I need to run from side to side.
we carry the liability. We carry all the insurance.
Well, I mean, any lawyer would be damned to
Yeah.
argue. I mean, as long as the corporate veil has not been pierced by POA.
Right. So, but if you have but going out and doing it as an LLC with its own board of directors that don't answer the POA, you're
That shows that it's going out. So
you have a third party.
You're going to kick this thing off big for ass about it.
I know. It's live now.
Oh, it is live?
Yeah. It's on the POA site. April Sound POA official dash official.
How about the other one?
The other one we told you is not happening.
Brent, how you doing?
Oh, I just jumped off an airplane for a week in San Diego, so I'm trying to.
Hey, Brent.
Security closers and they're on there once a day. I mean, they got the homework show.
Just kind of let them know that. And
So
then,
did we get the conference call working?
no,
still-
the screen,
Okay.
all the audio's going out. So the point is that we've got all this live.
Yeah, we want to keep it to a dull roar.
Well, that's fine, but I'm just saying, once it starts talking, nobody.
Okay.
And if there's a question, you answer that first, and you make it.
So we're streaming off of the cameras?
Right?
Oh, cool.
You get this guy's ear hole right now.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get rolling in a minute. Everybody just take a seat.
You guys are serious. Quite the audio production. Oh, is it?
For time and equipment. It's usually radio program.
We can start doing the POA podcast. That'd be fun,
I'll be
actually.
happy to support it.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
I do it. That's what I do.
Get property owners to come in and do it.
I'll do it all day long. They can call in, or we can call them in, and they don't even need to be there. I do 3 recorded podcasts, 4 podcasts.
Now go back and do rightfully not willing.
On the site, so all you see is
Oh, you get it? Oh, right.
All right, if everybody can take their seats, please.
Hey, Brent. You need to move over.
This way? All right.
Get in the picture. That's good.
All right. If I can have your attention, please. First off, I'd really want to start off by thanking Janice and Joe. These guys work tirelessly every time we have one of these to set up we're streaming live on the POA Facebook page. They've got the conference call set up for people coming in that aren't able to join personally. So again, thank you to these guys, because every meeting that we've had for like the last 5 meetings, these guys have worked their tails off. So thank you. With that being said, we are going to be streaming this, and people are trying to pick up on the audio from the conference call. So we want to keep it down so people can hear. We're going to have, once we get into questions, we'll have microphones going around. So if you have a question, we want to do it through a microphone, because that's what's going back through the audio system so people can hear it. If we don't, then we're going to have to repeat each one of the questions. So we'll get into that, but we'll have questions, but we'll do those with a microphone. So my name's Brent Thor. I've had the pleasure of being your chairman here for the last 18 months, but we've done a lot. And with us here, I see Karen Hurst, Ed Bulware's in the back. Is Kathy here? Oh, is she? Okay. So been working on a lot of things to try and streamline process. There's been a lot of speculation. There's been a lot of things that have gone around about meetings or things that are happening or not happening, and what's going on in the community. And I figured this was the best way to bring everybody together, get the questions out there, have some presentations. We started looking at, with the last board, we started looking at budget and where budget was going, and streamlining a process, and some of the things that weren't done the best they could have been done, because we were trying to do them in-house with people that really didn't know all aspects of it. We have 3 amazing ladies that work up in the office that are absolutely at the end of their capacity. And they're awesome. And you know what? But here's the fear. If something were to happen to one of those, if something were to happen to Nancy, nobody else knows the accounting system. Nobody else can run reports. Nobody else can pay bills. And none of them have the capacity to take on that extra work. So when we had Dan Ramey come in and do the report a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, the suggestion was we needed more people up in the office. Well, more people is budget. And how do we get that done? And how do we look at, being able to get that information to the property owners when they need it? We have an infrastructure that is in need of replacement. We have software that needs to be replaced. We've got, we used to have people when they came through, if you had people that came in on a regular basis, you could get a gate tag for them and they'd just go through the right side. But we've got software on that we're at the limit. It keeps, I think people probably noticed this during this week, it was down for a while because it crashed again and they had to rebuild everything. So we're looking at all the infrastructure that has to come around, as we started talking about it, we realized that there's organizations out there that this is what they do. So I've heard a bunch of rumors about if we were to outsource management, everything goes away. So let me put a couple rumors to bed. One is there's still a manager, there's still staff in the office, people are still here. You still have somebody to where if you have a problem, you pick up the phone, call them, go up there, sit down with them face to face. Those things don't change. What changes is there's a back end. They have the technology, and we've got the folks here from Inframark that are gonna show you what they bring to the table and what the difference is. It's not a matter of trying to reduce services. It's not a matter of trying to get people out of the office up there or closing that building. I've heard that we're going to rent that building out and there will be nobody here on site. And that's really not the fact. Well, let's keep it. But the difference is when we have things that we need to grow in, things that need to happen, an organization of these guys' magnitude brings in the knowledge, brings in the infrastructure, brings in the ability to bring the technology that we need, the leadership that we need. So, that's what this is all about, because we realize that we're not going to be able to hire the staff that we need to hire in there. One, we don't have the room for them. Two is there's no budget for it. We have to look at alternative means of providing better service to the property owners. And that's what this is all about. So everything you hear tonight is going to be about providing better service. It's going to be about providing stronger service. We've heard a lot about security. Security's going away. We're opening the gate. People are just going to come through. No. We're looking at how do we limit liability on the part of the association. I work in the public safety world as a consultant, and there was an ambulance service out of Louisiana, a large one, that had a liability suit, and they wrote a check for $171 million. So think about if we were to have something here, God forbid one of these guys shoots somebody, something happens, and we have a civil claim. Insurance only covers to so much, and then it comes out of everybody in this room's pocket. So when we look at what we're doing, when we look at what we're doing to try and improve, we're looking at not only trying to improve service, but we're also looking how do we limit the liability exposure to each and every one of you guys in the room. And, we've been working on this for a long time. This isn't something that's just been a knee-jerk. We've been looking at options. We've been looking at a significant decrease in budget, which gives us the ability to go out and do other things like cameras in areas that we need cameras. We've heard about golf carts getting stolen from the club and from the marina, and from being able to come in and help with those things. Put cameras in, put in those blind areas, do more things to help improve the overall organization. So what we're going to do tonight, like I said, we've got Chris and his team here from Inframark. They're going to just go over what it is they do. They've talked to us a couple times, but we thought it was really important to get these guys to present. Want to let them get through their program, and then we'll open it up for questions. The best way to get it out there, and like I said, I get tired of the rumor mill and this is what's happening, so we figured the best way to do this, and I know we're competing with Party on the Patio. It just seems like this time of year, anytime you do something, you're competing with somebody. Yes, sir.
That's not true.
Okay, so we'll get some. Ed, you want to grab one of the roving microphones there, and we'll. Did you have a question? Okay, there's a microphone.
My name is Penn Miles. I'm at 123 Stone's Edge. I've been here since 2005. My question is, these guys are going to present their program, I assume, is what they're going to do today.
Correct.
My question is, have you already signed them up?
No.
Do you plan on doing that?
It's on the agenda for Thursday's meeting. It'll depend on what the conversation is out of here. But no contracts have been signed with anybody yet.
We've been told in the future that it doesn't make any difference on what we say. You're going to do what you're going to do.
Well, at the end of the day,
that came out of Ed's mouth.
Well, wrong Ed. It was Ed Kelly, not Ed Bulwer. But at the end of the
I
day,
didn't turn around and look
it's-
at him, so I'm
Oh.
assuming you were talking about Ed Kelly.
no, Ed Bulwer standing right behind you.
Okay.
So, we want to get information. At the end of the day, it's up to the board to decide what's best.
What kind of information are you talking about?
We'll hopefully Q&A tonight. We're going to get people's concepts of what they want. We're going to let these guys present what they do.
Well, a general consensus from all of us, I assume I'm speaking for all of us, is that we don't want what you're selling.
Okay. Well, there are people that do. And at the end of the day, it's our responsibility to do what's best for 2,700 people in this community.
Well, basically, if we don't want
Hey, keep it down. Keep it down.
if we don't want what you're selling, our idea is that you need to step aside and let somebody else get in your place and let them try to see what they can
Well,
sell.
that's good. So, anybody else have all right. Ed, we've got another question over here.
Hi.
Who had a
Hi.
question?
My name's Meg Jansen. I've been here about 5 months. I'm over up at 5 April Point North. And why is it this is the first time I've heard of an open board meeting? I have never seen anything on.
Well, it's not a board meeting. We've been putting out for just a community meeting to come in and try and let these guys present what they're doing.
So are your board meetings always open?
Yes.
Okay. I
Yeah.
have.
No, and we put those out. Notice will go out. It'll be next Thursday at 7:00.
But I've been here for 5 months, and where I was before, I went to every meeting.
Okay. We e-blast them. We put them on our website. We e-blast them. So we just need to make sure that your email's correct for the
My
e-blast.
email's correct because all of a sudden I started getting a lot of stuff about, well, I don't know if you want to call them rumors, propaganda, or whatever.
Well,
but-
that's not the stuff coming from the POA. So
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
just-
some of it.
so
has-
yeah. So we need to make sure that through the official stuff that you're in there.
And when you come to the public board meetings, do you get a say to be part of
We have
the
a community
forum?
forum that we do a Q&A. We do a question.
do?
Let's keep it quiet, please.
Hold on, this is for my information. Do you actually have a community forum
Yes.
for people to vote to make those changes?
We don't do community votes. We have people, community comes in and has questions.
And does that include me as a property owner?
Yes. So, but let's keep it on track about this meeting. Next question? Yes.
Okay, that's.
I've got the microphone.
Oh, it is.
What?
Single board meeting I have been invited to. I've been here a year, and every board meeting, I've gotten an email that I'm invited to. Everyone.
Yes.
Hi there. There's been a recall petition, and why don't you just wait until after the recall
So-
to sign any contract?
So we can, so first off, we're gonna keep questions about what we're doing tonight. This is information for you guys on what we're presenting tonight. Greg?
Greg Peters, 190 Parkway.
What?
Regardless of what transpires tonight, as far as the communication goes, this should be a community vote, not your vote and your vote, a community vote.
Oh,
Everybody agrees with that.
that's good.
Do the right thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Those people
All right, so last question, JD.
There, we're on. The companies that we're going to hear tonight, who did the background checks on them, and how did you pick these? How many?
So in the management companies, we went to RFP end of last year, and we had Linda Frey, an outside consultant that went out, wrote the RFP, got the questions back, put all the answers together, brought all of the blinded. I got you, Richard. Brought all the blinded information back to the board, and we started reviewing and interviewing people and companies after that.
Again, who did the background checks?
The board interviewed each company.
Who on the board?
Every member of the board was present for the interviews with these companies.
Okay, that's good. Now, what did you find out about these companies? Because I also did a background
I'm
check.
sure. So, all right. We're not going to sit and hash. Richard?
Hello, Morgan?
Yeah.
I'm Richard Tibbetts. I'm at 174 Don's Edge. I'm also on the security committee. And this is a big surprise to us. And this is a big surprise to those of us on the security committee. Is it not, Joe? Big surprise. Okay. Here's the question. So you just said that whether or not you vote on this on Thursday is going to depend on the feedback you get tonight. Right?
It will. So it's on the agenda. It'll be up to the board members to decide how they want to go.
Okay, so that's the point I'm making. The point is you're saying that this decision has not been made.
It has not been made.
Okay.
It's on the agenda. It could come to a decision to move it forward.
And yet you said that you care about the feedback that you're getting from the people in this
We're
room.
hoping that after they make their presentation, you'll get a little bit more idea on.
Mute your phone, please.
Somebody's.
So.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, I'm going to reiterate what Greg Peters said, was that if you really don't have this in mind to vote on, if you haven't made up your mind yet, and you're really genuinely interested in the input from the neighborhood, then you need to have a referendum. You need to offer these neighbors choice A, choice B, choice C. You need to hear these people, because when you stand up and you say you're going to make the right decision for 2,700 property owners, you need to trust these property owners to make the right decision for themselves.
All right. So with that, we're going to move on into the next part. We're going to ask Chris and his team to come up. So, Chris, we've got a lapel mic for you in the back, so you can, yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. I thought it was running to the back.
Folks, just remember there's a large number of people listening to this, so you need to talk slowly. And if you have a question, wait for the mic and for him to call on you, because a lot of people on the phone are saying there's so many people talking.
What he's saying is when you have a question, wait for the microphone to come around, because all we're doing is it's drowning out everybody that's trying to hear online and on the conference call.
So we kind of swelled some of that.
This is not, it's not on. It's not making a meeting. So just use the.
Is this, Joe, is this plugged in back there? It's not powering on. Let's try that.
Right. I could just sign and put the pictures and I could jump in and put it on.
Is it plugged in back there?
Once you put the pictures on. Okay. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I figured you had some thoughts on this.
No, nothing's lit up here.
Absolutely. Oh no, this is great.
I mean, just to protect
No.
you.
Hey. That's right. It is.
There it goes.
All right. So I'm going to introduce Mila Moon. Milan's with Inframark, and I'll let her take off and introduce her team.
Okay. It is not working.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Do you want these?
No.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Everybody can hear me just fine? Okay. How about this? All right. Everyone, thank you so much for being here tonight. It's evident that you care about your community. April Sound is beautiful. It's very special. And I don't need to tell you that because you guys live here. And we are a management company, Inframark, Infrastructure Management Services. I am Mila Moon, and I've been with the company for 18 years. This company is all about caring for community and building community. And we want to see the success of your community. And that's what we're here for, is to partner and create peer partnership with each and every resident, owner, vendor, contractor, caller, customer service person. We want to build community with you. So that's what we're here for. And I think I'm gonna have to pull this down a little bit. Thank you. So I'd like to just briefly, since we're waiting for 1 second,
We're getting there.
we're getting there.
Let me get out of here. I'm
Okay.
over here, so I don't get in your way.
So let me just start for just a moment about, go ahead. Inframark was established in 1978. We've been doing association management for 40 years. Master plan communities are our specialty, and that's what we are here for. Okay, you can still hear me? No? Okay. All right, thank you. All right, so I would like to start off here. This is a presentation, and I have my team with me. I have my boss, which is Chris Therese. He is an amazing component to our team. He is the leader of our team. He builds team memberships with every employee that is part of serving your community. He brings resources that anything that we need to deliver the customer service that you deserve to have. So also we have Sally with me. I forgot your Frederick, Sally Frederick. She's not mic'd, but also she's a very important team member because she's also part of the management team. So with that being said, okay. So right here, I would like to,
It should be.
yeah, she's alone over there. Okay. All right. So our mission statement is to be the partner and protector of the most critical resource that helps communities prosper. So, all right. Pure alignment. Pure alignment is one of the most important fundamental principles. Okay. Pure alignment is pure accessibility and pure accountability are principles of peer partnership. It's very important that every service that we provide is aligned with your goals and your needs in your community. We want to be very accessible to you. We have live people that answer the phone and give you informed answers. We also are very much dedicated to best practices, being accountable, and doing things the right way. No shortcuts. Doing things the way that they're supposed to be done so you don't have to worry about anything. We can provide the leadership that you need. It's to build trust, reliability. Okay. A lot is included in what we do, so I don't need to read every one of these things, but a lot of what we do is included in what we do every day, whether it's delivering checks and balances, making sure that what we're doing complies with laws, governance of your documents, using best practices. We have safety training. There's just so much resource and functionality that we provide and bring to you. Inframark here, we have value and advantages. And I really feel like this is really important because without this, what are we here for? We are here to bring value to you and bring a framework of which you can continue to build community. We bring the experience and the trained professionals. We have the technology that is sustainable and effective, such as Strong Room for accounts payable. And that's we'll go through each one of these, but just kind of give you an overview that the Strong Room creates so much transparency that every board member can see every invoice. The manager receives those invoices and codes them to the proper general ledger account, and then the board can see them before they approve. They're approved before a check is ever issued. So they see them, and that can be done anytime, anywhere, daily, weekly. It doesn't have to be done monthly. And the electronic records are available in their phone, in their computer, their iPad. So it's very empowering for the knowledge and transparency for the board. Also is a smart web technology, deed restriction enforcement, and then architectural reviews for tracking and making sure that the applications that you submit for modifications are properly reviewed, prepared, so that way the committee can make an informed decision. In addition, we understand that this is a very big step. It is a very big step. Should you go this direction, it means that there's a transition that would need to take place. And we are committed to a transition plan that is very communicative with the community. So it's just an overview of some of those advantages. The experience, the knowledge, and the training, we do have that, and we can provide it to you and support you to sustain this amazing, beautiful community. Without the technology to sustain in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you want this community to be able to be as strong as it is today then. So we are very present in Texas, and we have, this is Houston, and you can see just a presence about where we are. We have about 123 associations, actually about 137 now. So we've been growing. We also have a mud operations group where they do water and wastewater services. And so we partner with them oftentimes with technology and resources. And here are some of our staff and our team members, just to give you some faces to them. Up here in the top left is Kelly Resnicek and some of the team that help lead the manager group and for support for the accounts payable, accounts receivable, and then also one of our master plan community managers are in that picture as well. So anyways, just some of our team. Okay. Financial management is extremely important, and you have an amazing person that's handling those bookkeeping requirements right now. But we have some strength that we can bring to your community by bringing the technology and the best practices. We have the best-in-class financial department that there is. It is amazing. They provide very meaningful reporting that is informative without overloading and avalanching people, but they can provide helpful information so the board can make informed decisions. You cannot have to worry about the bookkeeping because the coding and all of those things are tracked through the electronic systems, and the reports are available online for the board, as well as reports are provided to the community in the community section on our website that we have in mind for you. So with the monthly reporting, you have all of these items that are listed here. I don't need to read them. Probably, I bet you many of the people in here are very savvy about financials. I bet so. So with these practices that we put in place, it actually puts the association in the strongest, healthiest position financially, being able to have solid records.
I think, and my name is Chris Trace, by the way, so thank you for having us tonight. One of the things I just want to highlight there, can everybody hear me okay? Is that better? All right. So I think just one of the things to highlight there is really what we kind of bring to the table is the processes to really help in the support in the back of the house. From what I understand, the staff that you have here is amazing, and which is great. And we're not looking to, necessarily change any of that. But what we're looking to do is be able to provide support to those individuals and to the community. We have 15 people with over 120 years of experience doing what they do. The leadership and the management team for our our payable manager and supervisor, between them, they have almost 40 years of experience just between the two of them. So, really what we do is bring some industry best practices. We bring technology to the game and to be able to just kind of better support the community, because if one person goes down, we don't want it to kind of sink the ship, and we have a lot of not redundancy, but cross training, and we have a lot of people who not just are specialized in one particular area, but who are able to do a lot of different things within the accounting portion of it. And the software that we use is one of the best in the industry, and it also allows us to the financials that we provide to kind of adapt. We don't have one size fits all for everybody. So whatever the board or the community happens to need, we have the ability to be able to, just kind of adapt the financials around whatever, the community, the needs of the community. So just wanted to highlight that.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. I'd like to also mention the tenure of our department heads. The accounts payable department has been with us for 19 years, and then also, it says 18, but it's now 19 years, and then 31 years for our accounts receivable department. So it's just a very strong team that we can bring to you. This is the organizational chart that we have in mind for you. And not only do we have in mind for you, we actually provide the support. And you are seeing Chris Therese himself as the top supporter of the entire team. We have Kelly Resnicek, who I mentioned earlier, who's the director of managers. She would be the direct support for Sally here on site as your manager. And then Sally would build the team and work with the on-site administrator and also the on-site receptionist. I knew there was a word for that, right? A receptionist. And then also the gate staff. So she would help support as well. And building a team together to serve your community. It's not one person, it's the team. And she would be here on site for the community.
Thanks, Mila. And the other thing I just wanted to highlight there too is, look, we're not coming in trying to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. There's a lot of experience and knowledge within your clubhouse and where you're at. And I think it's important, typically when we go into new communities and we want to tap into the knowledge of the people that happen to be there. They know the community better than we do coming in, without question. Typically we don't look to make a lot of changes. We just want to be able to see what's going on, see what services and what processes and systems that we have that can better enhance the level of service to the community, to limit liability, to really just kind of have some background or backups for the different systems and processes that are in place. It's really just about working with the team, being able to provide a different level of support and growth for individuals as well. We have a ton of training. We have a human resource department that supports the individuals. We have regular trainings and development courses that we do for people, just personally and professionally. We like to invest in our people as well. It just was one of the things that really I believe in. We're here to serve the communities, right? And look, I understand kind of the situation that we're standing in front of you today, and I respect that. Look, y'all are passionate about your community, and I think that's awesome. And what I can just tell you is, we're just here to serve, right? I mean, we're here to serve the needs of the community, the needs of the board, whatever we can do to help make that better. That's all we're here to do. And we have a number of systems and processes in place to allow us to do that. We've had success for a number of years doing it. And again, what I really appreciate is the fact that you're being the respect that you're showing, and I appreciate that very much to allow us to kind of get through this. So thank you very much. Go ahead, Mila.
Okay, and so with the departments, we have the leads up there that also supports the managers, the accounts payable and accounts receivable, and then a customer care department that is open from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. as well. So for the calls that are overflowing or after hours, we have support for that as well. Without the human resources that Chris was just talking about, brings a lot of stability and services for our staff, which we are, these are really great benefits and support for the staff. So it's important that your staff is supported in that way. One of the most important things I find is having the ability to have awards and recognition, that people who are working hard for serving your community, that they're rewarded and that they are recognized when they're doing a good job. And I think that our company does a very good job of doing that, and also providing the support, because the employees are brought together on a monthly basis, and they do have exchanges of creative ideas, challenges, or projects that they're working on, where they can have not just one mind, but they have a collective of knowledge and experience to draw from. So, this is very important. Part of the training that every manager that we provide to you has. This is a very powerful designation called the CMCA. It's the Certified Manager of Community Associations. It is through the Community Associations Institute, the CAI. All of our staff are going through those ongoing training sessions, and we're earning those designations. And this is important because this is how we help keep our managers and our staff aligned with legislation and laws that are coming into play that need to be implemented administratively, as well as whether it's for the governance of the community, whether it's a policy, or maybe even an election. These things need to be we need to bring that knowledge and expertise to you as we're providing guidance to the community. So I understand that there's questions, you guys, but if you don't mind would you please? Okay, I appreciate it because you guys have a lot of questions and I will never make it through here. And I really want you to at least hear what we have to provide for you. So thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so anyways, and these percentages are just part of the training when you see this, whether it's governance and ethical conduct, budgets, reserves, investments, and assessments. These are percentages of the education that's involved with this particular designation. Contracting, being able to, work with the vendors and understand what the contract language is and how to work with them on site, and the financial controls, learning how to administrate the board's directives and bring ideas and resources to them. So risk management and insurance, we actually receive safety training and also require all of our members to go through that on a monthly basis as well. And property maintenance meetings, and then of course human resources. So this is some of the experience. You might recognize some of these names. We have quite a few of them, but some of these master plans and the 40 years experience that we bring to you. So, and these are our partners, our business partners. We do not own interest in any of these partnerships. And this is important too, because any vendor that we bring to you, whether it's for a contracting, maybe it's landscaping, or maybe it's a technology piece, we do not own any of them and we do not make money off of them. There's other practices out there by other folks who do those things, and we do not. See, we have a plumb line of ethical business practices that you can know and be confident of. If we make a recommendation, it's not going to be on a selfish basis. It's going to benefit the client, which is you. So one of these is Town Square, which is an incredible, powerful communication tool. And I'm really excited to share that with you. Strong Room, Smart Webs, and it's just really good technology that I'm going to talk about right now. This is the Strong Room I was talking about. You can see here that there is an invoice here. So the manager would receive a copy of this. You have invoices. And she opens it up, puts in her password. She can then code this invoice, make comments, and then she approves it on her level. It goes to the whole board. Then one of the board members who is a final approver, the board can make questions or they can evaluate what's going on and approve that before the check is ever cut. So then it comes back to us. We verify that funds are in the account, and then we release it, and the check is cut straight to the vendor. And this did not happen one time. This happened several times a week because we're working on this throughout the week, every week. So, and then the board members, they can actually set a timer and say that at Saturday morning with their cup of coffee, they can go through every one of these invoices, ask questions, or see it. Now, what's really great, let's just pretend that this was a landscape contract invoice. And we saw that it had a line item for flowers. But the board member says, wait a minute, I thought we've paid those flowers last month. They can either ask that question to the manager through the system, or they can actually push the button and see last month's invoice right there in the system. And let's say they checked the invoice. They saw that it was for mulch. Hey, the mulch looks great. The flowers look great. It's approved. So it comes back to us. Again, we verify it, and then it's released. And the contractor's paid more timely as well. So it's a very powerful tool. Auditors love it because it's all PDF driven, and we provide the resources and accessibility for them to see it. It's really easy to help track.
Yeah, and I think just to highlight that too, before we move on, the beauty of it is it's very transparent. It's not one board member signing checks and then it kind of goes out. The other, so it's very transparent. There's a history. You can look it up at any particular time. The board has access to it. They get full training on it. The other great part is, I've been on the vendor side, right? Vendors get paid in a timely manner. They work hard for their money, and making them wait because of a manual process isn't really, helping them out at all. So, the beauty of having an automated system in place is one, once the right checks and balances are done, we can make sure it's coded, gets to the proper GL line item on your financials, and then the vendor gets paid in a much more timely manner. So.
Yeah, thank you. And this program is actually provided free with the services that we bring because we've negotiated that rate, and so it's included in what we do. So there's not like nickel and diming or anything with that. All right, this is so cool, right? Okay, but I really like that, but it's really amazing, but not next to my house, right? So that's why we have deed restriction enforcement. So this is a technology that we're using called Smart Webs Violations. And this is a very powerful tool because what it does is it color codes the violations per the house as we are going on inspections. The inspection process for this community is not going to be a one-day deal or a two-day deal. It's going to be basically a weekly routine going through here to get every home and reviewed every month, because it's how you maintain consistency and tracking and following up on the violations, right, to make it even and fair. So also, this has a GPS system, so we can actually be on the backside of the lake, look at the map, and we can identify which home it belongs to, a violation or something like that. And it also tracks the architectural reviews. So the manager, when the manager is on inspections and they review this, they can see if this modification is still pending or if it has something that needs to be followed up on. So every time we go out on inspections, the color code is going to change, right? So once it's reviewed, then it can go off. But unless it's solved, it can't leave the system. But if a homeowner would happen to call in and say, hey, I've removed the pile of mulch out of my driveway, I was just working on a weekend project, we note that system and the manager can see that note while on inspections. So it's a powerful tool, and it's really great to be able to see comments if a resident, calls in and you're trying to respond. We need to know that, right? So it's very good. Okay, well, we use, it's also how do you use it and how effectively. So I'm hoping that we would bring in some more stability in reporting and so forth. But, okay. Did you say something? Okay. All right, and then the dashboard. Pardon? The community has the board also has a board dashboard, and it helps them if they have questions or a certain issue. Maybe bulkheads might be a challenge, or maybe it might be, it's the garage doors. There's just a lot of them, and they would like just to see what are the metrics, what's happening within the community regarding deed restrictions. So it's just a powerful, robust program. All right, so architectural reviews. For reviews, what it does is it really provides the same kind of concept as the strong room program I was mentioning to you. And this actually creates a collaborative space electronically so the architectural review committee can see the same information at the same time or from anywhere in the world. So they can be on vacation, but they want to review that. Their job is to review the application that you're waiting for. So they can get online, see the information, see the documents, and help contribute their comments to that process. It's also tracked, and then it's also tied to our resident portal where you can see on your account the status of your application. So. Okay, so I just wanted to show you, this is just one of the charts that the Architectural Review Committee can access and see the activity about what has been going on, if it's approved, declined, or additional information is required, or if it's approved with conditions. It's just a good chart to see the activity.
So, and before we move on, it's great that the community is already using smart webs. The architectural component ties into that. And it's a really slick way to do it as well, because it expedites the process for the homeowner, the resident who is submitting an architectural application to get something done. So rather than, again, be a manual process, the information gets collected, all the documents kind of get scanned into the system for the board or the architectural committee to be able to review. They can comment collectively. They don't have to just work on, so they all work on kind of the same document, all the same information. There's generally a form that they can utilize. So if one committee member has a comment, they post it in there. The other committee members can see it and respond to it. So the process moves along a lot quicker that way. And part of the service that we include is really just kind of collecting the applications, the data. We typically do a general first review on it as well to make sure all the documentation is proper. If there's anything that we notice, we get back to the homeowner or the applicant right away before it kind of goes to the committee in order to kind of expedite that process rather than go to the committee and then get kicked back and really kind of slow things down. So the key is to be able to kind of tie it all together into one portal where everybody can have access to it. The other kind of cool thing too is as it ties into the deed restriction stuff, you know, I personally love the system. I think it's great. You know, the manager kind of goes throughout the community gets uploaded into the system. And so it geomaps it, and then as the manager moves around with their pad throughout the community, all the houses come up. If they're color coded, you know, if they've had a previous violation within the last 6 months, it's red, or an open violation, it's red. It's the house is color coded red. If it's had a violation but it's been closed within the last 6 months, it's orange. If everything's been good and the house is always in compliance, it stays green. The other part is the architectural ties into that too. So if there's a violation or a architectural application out there, you know, it'll be kind of split between kind of a red and blue color in order to flag that. The cool part about, you know, the smart webs too, and for those of you who may not know, is it's a great tool to utilize throughout the community because it takes away the pad, the spreadsheets that the managers typically will take out with them, and it allows them to just kind of walk through the community and really kind of flags to the manager, this already has an open violation. So it allows the manager an opportunity to just kind of follow up and ensure that it's been taken care of, which in most cases it is, and then they just kind of close it out and resolve it that way. The other benefit to that program is it reduces the amount of time spent on doing deed restriction violations or letters or anything like that because it does go out automatically on a regular basis. The templates are set up based on the type of violation, and then that information just kind of gets uploaded and it gets sent out automatically every day.
And that brings us to another layer of communication and access for you to have.
Can you talk about security?
Not at this moment. We're still going through what we provide to you, but thank you. We will get to that, okay, everybody? But thank you for your patience to listen to us. Okay, so this is like the grand feature I'd like you to hear about. This is called the Town Square. This is a highly customized program that we use for communicating directly to the residents. It has an application, and it comes with an app on your phone that you can download, and you can access it from your computer, your iPhone, and your iPad or smart tablet. And so it's communication from wherever you are. So the association has official news channel. We have several different news channels, and there happens to be a watch alert and one for the security that we could set up for them as well. And then the manager is empowered to send out information only to the security, to residents, to owners, and also just maybe you have tenants or leased properties. So we can track all of that through our systems. So if we needed to send out information to guests, we can do that, and we can also update our contractor team, such as the security, and inform them and utilize this technology effectively. Also, it has like just different groups that can be created. So if there was a beautification committee, that committee could have its own area in the system, so that way it can communicate certain things out to its group. And if you were interested and you wanted to join that group, then you could also join in and receive those alerts and updates. It will have its own calendar as well. So I'm going to show you a bit of that in a minute. So move forward. So let's just say that, for instance, that you wanted to communicate that you're going to have an event. You can push it out to the app. And maybe you wanted to create some community spirit and have some good times and good memories. And you can create those events and push it out. So now the other thing is that if the manager is out on inspections and sees a fallen tree, she could actually take a picture of that, post it to Town Square. You get an update and it says, hey, I was on inspections today. There was a fallen tree. I've reported it to the maintenance department, and they'll be out at 4 o'clock today. Please avoid the area. Thank you and have a great day. Usually when you hear from the association, it's you either owe money or have a challenge with a deed restriction letter, or you have a newsletter information. But this way, it's proactive and you get it sooner than later. If there was a hurricane, we utilize this system very effectively during the hurricanes and the storms, and we're able to communicate to all of our communities very effectively through this. So transition.
Yeah, I think the important part of this, without taking too much time up on the transition, is just from a highlight standpoint. Is the important thing is we've done a number of these. We have a transition team in place. We have a manager that oversees it. It's very methodical. There's a number of checklists. And we work in collaboration with the board, and in this particular case with the on-site staff, in order to have as smooth a transition as possible. We definitely want to make ourselves available to the community. Good or bad. Right? It doesn't really, what it is just about communicating. That town square is such a powerful communication tool. It's a place where you can store your documents. It's a place where you can kind of communicate what's going on within the community for the good of the community, hopefully. It does also have a security filter, so it allows it to kind of keep the language clean, keep it very professional as much as possible. But it gives everybody kind of a voice, and it's very flexible on how it can be utilized. But the important thing, it allows us to kind of communicate with the entire community in a meaningful way. The managers will typically, maybe put out their kind of an action item list and some updates on what's going on with that and different projects within the community, so that you're well informed of what's kind of going on. So it's a great tool to utilize. The important thing of this is really that we have a very thoughtful, methodical transition team and plan in place for those communities that we do end up transitioning. So, and that's why I don't want to waste everybody's time really kind of going through. That's the high level version of that part. And then you can kind of jump ahead, which to your favorite part, I know y'all are waiting for it, which is the Q&A section at some point. Just leave it on that slide, Miley. That's okay.
Okay. These are not, the folks that we're talking about security are coming next. These guys are not providing and this is strictly office management, back-end services, accounting functions. That's what Inframark is here to talk about. They're not, so we throw security questions out, but they're not going to be able to answer them.
I'd like to ask the first question back here at the back.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned in reference to going by and looking at violations that you'd go by weekly to look at violations, possibly having someone. My family's had property here since 1973. So we've had generally 3 officers 24/7. So how are y'all going to cover this whole subdivision on a weekly basis?
No, it's going to take a week. It's going to
deed restriction violations. That's all I'm talking
about. That's right. And it actually takes, it's going to take 4 days to do a full inspection. So doing it, compartmentalizing it in bites weekly will probably be a methodology. It doesn't mean it has to be, but it can be.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank
all right.
you.
Now I saw a lady over here, this right there.
This question is for Sally.
Hello. Can you hear me now? Hello, I'm Sally. Nice to meet you all.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm going to talk really loud. Okay. Since you're going to be our property manager.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to know how many years you've been doing property management.
I have been in property management for just a little over 4 years. I have managed about a portfolio of about 2,500 units. So I'm familiar with the large number of units, the amenities. I've been working in the field for the 4+ years. And I am CMCA certified as well. That was one of the requirements.
Wait a minute, let's go. Let's each question. We can get back. Candy, you had one?
Yes. Is that right? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You said in your presentation that there were 15 financial people and you have 137 properties. That's not, it's not units, properties. That's 9 properties per person. Right now we have 2 accounting people per 1 property. Also, the financials you said that you could do. We have a board member, Karen Hurst, who offered to do those, but that's been blocked.
Candy, what's the question?
I'm getting there, Brent. Wait a minute. Right now.
Stop.
Right now, our vendors are being paid timely. You said about the architectural review program that everyone can see it from all over the world. That's probably an overkill for here. Email probably works fine. You said that about the fallen tree example, that the maintenance department takes care of it. Here's a question, Brent. Where is the maintenance department? And I have another question is, were you originally contacted by Brent or the board?
So the maintenance, we have a maintenance department around the city of Houston, and to be able to provide maintenance services to the community. I'm
Quiet,
sorry, you asked
please,
the
let him
question, and I
answer.
was very respectful, so I just asked for the same. So there is a maintenance department that we have that does. It was part of the RFP. There was not a maintenance component to it, to general maintenance with that around the community. However, we do have the ability to provide those services. And really, we were not directly contacted by the board. We were contacted by Linda Frey, the consultant that was hired by the board, to answer your question.
That was about like 4 months ago, I think. I'm thinking it was like 4 months ago.
Linda Frey has some kind of involvement or used to have some kind of ownership.
Mike.
So I can tackle that. Real quick. Linda has no involvement with the company as it stands today. Linda's created a great company that Severn Trent Services purchased almost 20 years ago from Linda. Linda has not been involved with the company for over a dozen years. When it comes to that, I know Linda just for when I started with the company. I had an opportunity to kind of reach out during a different RFP process as a consultant that she was working, and that's the only way I met her. But so she has no ties to our company as it currently stands.
Go up front.
I can hear you.
Okay. Now, can you hear me? I'm Judy Kramer, 130 April Waters West, and I like to know what the annual cost it will be and the monthly cost per property owner.
That part, I'm not sure, to be honest with you, what the monthly cost would be per property owner.
To the POA, what would it be?
I'm sorry?
What you have to have some idea what it's going to cost. How can they sign a contract with you?
They have not signed a contract with us.
They haven't broken it down by property owner.
How much is it annually then for the POA?
Okay,
How much is it going to cost, Thor?
I understand. But hold on, let's finish the one question. Chris, I don't have the number in front. Do you remember what the total contract cost was?
Honestly, not off the top of my head. But look, it's.
But I think it was.
Hey, quiet.
Hang on.
One at a time. Okay, and that'll be.
The cost that, okay, so ladies and gentlemen,
I would say, okay.
contract-
Go ahead, Mila.
The contract that I personally have been working on for a very long time, numerous hours, worked on those numbers for you. I don't have it all in my head exactly, but I can tell you that it was very close to what you're paying now. It would be more, and there would be some change in some of the structure, but essentially the team present on site would still be intact, and the services you're receiving now, you'll still be receiving. So it's going to be very close to what you're paying now.
Hold on, Ed.
We're not going to be.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Wait. Ed's got the number. Hold on.
Good, thank you.
Around
Ed.
144.
Please.
That was 155,000.
Yeah.
Thank you.
155 per year. Per year.
155.
Everything they put up on that list.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
So
How long would your contract be for? How many years?
it depends on what the board is going to sign. It could be 1, 2, or 3.
So,
Yes, ma'am, back here in the back.
Angela Bartlett, 104 Rustling Wind Drive. Angela Bartlett, 104 Rustling Wind Drive. Did I understand that if we have a contract with you guys, that you aren't responsible for maintenance?
No, ma'am. Actually, my example that I used, I was just trying to say if there was a fallen tree that I should have possibly said the landscape company would have been contacted for it. So yes, we would be responsible for managing all the contracts that the association has a relationship with.
And we've been out to hire a maintenance man in-house, so it would be just another resource. We'd have somebody back here. We haven't had one in a while, but we've been out collecting applications for that.
Okay. There was a gentleman right here in the white shirt.
What are
Got it? Okay.
Thank you very much.
At the beginning, you said you had people in your office to answer the phone. First of all, I want to know what is going to happen to our staff we have here now. Are you going to keep them? Are you going to lower their salary? Are you going to raise their salary? What's going to happen to the staff? We have good staff now, and we don't want to put them on the street.
Got your question. Let me just say that we actually find value in your staff that you have right now. Your on-site staff for the receptionist and also the administrator are very much probably going to be staying. We are evaluating the skill sets of the bookkeeper, and we even have opportunities for that person. But that's very much of a confidential conversation that would have to take apart from this meeting for what would transpire there.
But what I would share to your point, though, that is very important to your board too. They made it very clear during the interview process, to be able to take care of the staff that's in place now. So they think very highly of them. They sound like they're amazing people and do a good job for the community. And as I told the board, when we first met, like I'm always looking, it's always about getting good people, right? I mean, if you get good people on board, then they're kind of the face of the company to the client. So, we're always looking for good people, and it sounds like you have some good people here. So.
This gentleman right here.
No, it just went off.
Hi. Is it on now? Mike Polanski, 12 Lakeview Village. Well, nope. Mike, does this work? Hello. Is it working now? No. Yes. Is this any better?
Yes, sir.
I'll talk loud, and I'll try to talk with this too. Mike Polanski, 12 Lakeview Village. While all your programs, they look great, and it really looks like it's modernizing, the question is this. When it comes to actual payment, is your company going to have a base, what we pay you per month? And the big question is, when you have to call to handle a contract, is that included in the base, or do you tack on a percentage of the contract that you outsource or oversee?
Great question. I would tell you, so two parts to that, and I'll answer them. One, yes, there is a base fee, and two, no, there's no additional fees. To handle any contract, landscaping, security, whatever it may be, there's no additional fees. It's all kind of baked into what we do.
It's very inclusive pricing. Most of the things that would be not included would be like copies or postage. That's basically the kinds of things that would not be included. And this lady right back here.
Turn it off.
Sorry. My name is Barbara LeBlanc. Some of you may well know me. I served on the CAI board for 3 years. The young lady mentioned CAI board, and I can tell you they are the people who do provide certification to property managers. I also can tell you that once a property manager gets their foot in the door, they definitely feel that they are in control over everything. And I know that for a fact. I sat there for 3 years. I served on committees. I drove back and forth from Houston. And I know they have some good things to offer, but I can tell you right now, they have been trained to take care and to do everything for the community without much input at all from property owners.
Well, actually, I would like to speak to that, and thank you for recognizing the CAI, because it is an outstanding institution. There are different brands of management out there. We are not the domineering dictatorship type of management, period. We will faithfully serve your community, implement the board policies, uphold the governing documents, support our customer care responsibilities by answering the phone so you can actually speak to us, respond to your emails. We have live chat on our website. We are very highly accessible. Also, you have your on-site receptionist that you can stop in, talk to. The receptionist, and she would probably also help with some administrative duties, but the office is still here. It's not going anywhere. So I just would like to encourage you that we are not about trying to overtake your community. We want to support your community, and we are responsible to implement the board's policies. They make the decisions, and we also are responsible to listen to you.
And I'd like to add to that. Can you hear me? All right. Nope, it's on. Are we good? It's a little less awkward. I'd like to kind of piggyback off of what she said as well. I'm not interested in coming in and being domineering and taking over your community and running things my way. I want to come and support all of you and the board. That's what my job is. I'm not here to take over and run the show. I'm here to come and implement the policies that they vote in. They're the board that you elected, and as well as listen to your concerns. When you well, and I understand everyone's very passionate. I really do get that. I would be too in your shoes. Yes, I would be on site. I'd be at the office working with your staff, and yes.
Every day.
Yes. Well, every business day, yes. Yes.
Except weekends, unless
Right.
you need her. Come a little closer.
I'm just kidding.
Just get it on the camera.
Hello. Hello. Am I okay? I'm Richard Tibbetts, 174 Don's Edge. In the preliminary questioning, I implored the board to put this up for a referendum before they make any choices about outsourcing. Having said that, I personally believe that our current POA is so politicized that if it was put up to a vote for me, I would vote to outsource it at this point. That's just a side note. The two concerns I have are, one, I think you just mostly tried to answer, and that's sort of how can we guarantee the fear for a lot of us for outsourcing is giving up control, right? You know, at least no matter how politicized or toxic our POA is, we feel like they're listening to us, right? We feel like we have some influence in it. When it gets outsourced, then we feel like there's a barrier of a separation. So I do appreciate your promises of fidelity to customer service. If you can do anything else to alleviate our concerns by the mechanisms of the contract or anything like that, how will you hear our voices if we find out that one person in the office is rude? You know, this sort of thing, because the truth is we've had people working in our POA office in the past who were rude. I'm not judging why they were, I'm just saying they were, okay? And I'd like a little bit of relief from concern about that. And then the other thing is just in the area of like services, you talked about a 4-day sweep of the neighborhood for deed restriction violations. That works great when people's paint is peeling and things. But we have some sort of funky deed restrictions in here. You can't have a trailer in your driveway overnight. You can't, you know, there are all these things that we're used to having our security until fairly recently. Our security would bring these things up on a daily basis or an hourly basis. I know when I was renovating my house, man, I got one night my contractor left a trailer in the driveway and I got the notice the next day. So on a like sort of equal replacement of services, what can you say about that?
Sure. Is this still on? Can you all hear me? Okay, great. Thank you for your question. So what I would offer with that, I'll take the second part first, if that's okay, which is, you know, we want to work in collaboration with the different vendors that are here, right? I mean, it's all for the betterment of the community. And that's generally the mindset that we take when we kind of go to market and when we work with our clients, is what's in the best interest of the client, right? So we're going to work well with the vendors. And we're going to hold them accountable. In a lot of cases, or in all cases. So if they're not doing what they're contracted to do for the community, then we're going to hold them accountable, and we're going to help them, encourage them to do so in the right way, and also communicate that back to the board, kind of what's going on. So collaboratively is really kind of the answer to how we would work, you know, not changing around the way your security does it. You know, we have no intentions of doing that at this point. And quite honestly, don't know the full extent of what all the security does there, because that hasn't been part of kind of the conversations that we've had with the board. So the other thing I would add to that, though, is, look, change is difficult. Now, I understand where you're coming from. I really do. I understand wanting to kind of hold on to control and things of that nature, and I get that. Look, I'm here as the vice president, you know, in front of you. You know, my job is to support my team and to make sure that they have all the resources they need to do the job. And if that means I need to come help them in person to support them, then that's what I do. I hate being in the office and being in the communities. That's what I prefer to do, and spend the majority of my time doing that. And what I would say is that we have a system kind of in place. You know, it's not, while Sally will be here on site with the staff, we have a number of resources to be able to support her when times get tough, when there's challenges, when there's questions that may come up. And that's with our director of management in Kelly. She, you know, is very involved in the communities when needed, and supports the managers on a regular basis. I get involved. We have a human resource element. We have a director of human resources here in our Houston office in Katy, where we're based out of. that provides all kinds of support. We have a number of training programs in place. So if one of our staff members happens to be rude, let's just say, for example, and it comes to our attention, then we have a number of different, systems in place to be able to redirect them in a positive way. And so the on-site team, not just the manager, but the on-site team will have all the support and resources available within my organization. That part I can sit here in front of you and honestly tell you face to face. As far as, I know there's one other component to it, but did I answer? Yeah, I believe, the frequency of the violations was that the community gets done once a month. And then how we go about scheduling that, may vary. We may hit different sections, obviously, maybe do one section a day for the course, not wanting to be out of the office that much. So we may put it on a rotation is what we're thinking of kind of different communities. So, every week we're hitting a different section and then just kind of routinely doing that.
May I just follow up on that because I don't think you quite question.
And I'm sorry if I'm not.
Where somebody's parking their trailer and it's hanging out over the front of their house, which is a violation in most of the sections of our neighborhood. What's to happen if I say, man, my darn neighbor, man, he is doing that every weekend, and Inframark never catches them? You see, what I'm saying is, in a like service situation, we used to have security sort of looking out of the corner of their eye, doing that 24/7, 365. And if y'all are talking about dedicating 5 days a week to, or 5 days a month to deed restrictions, that feels to me like it might be a different thing.
No. Yeah.
So security is still going around and looking at those types of restrictions. It's not their primary job. It will still be where when they see something, they'll put it in their log and kick it up to the manager. Security still will, just like they're doing today. Yes. So that is just